We have a lot of people here. We have Carlos, we have Danica, we have Ella, Audrey, Claire, Ella, Kinder Cloth Diaper. I don't think that's the name of a person, but I think that's the name of the brand. So beautiful. Carlos, thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for taking like an hour of your time to be here. I understand that we're all super busy all the time and you guys have probably a bunch of things you're juggling. So I appreciate it. We'll make it as uh as valuable as possible. We'll go straight into things. Small introduction. This is Bunty. He's been running ads for a long time. He's been in the agency side, he's been on the freelancer side, he has been on the brand side, he has been on every side of things. And today we're gonna do something that a lot of people asked, that is ad creative roasts. So the way this is gonna work is we already have your ads library. So if Danica or Claire, you guys want to start, we have your information if you're registered through the Luma. Bunty is gonna share his screen, and then we're just gonna go straight into roasting. Maybe you can just give a bit of feedback, as in like what is working, what is not working, how have you seen performance on your creatives, and just giving the most amount of context to Bunty, and then he's going to be able to break it down for you guys. Is that cool with everyone? Awesome. Awesome. All right, Bunty. Well, the floor is yours, man. Nice to have you here. Thank you for taking the time. And yeah, I hope you come to Mexico City soon.
For sure. Thanks, Shin. Just to make Shin's job easier, we're trying to promote these more. So if anyone is in a position to go camera on, and so Shin can take a little bit of snapshots and being like, yeah, we got social proof, that would be dope. But if not, no worries. We're still going to have a great time. And so, yeah, Shin already gave a little bit of introduction. I've been doing ads from like 2017, a lot of online businesses. I've been pre-pandemic in ads, basically just been doing it full time. I started with meta ads, but I've expanded to pretty much all the main paid traffic channels, Facebook, Instagram, Google, LinkedIn, and just that's been my bread and butter. And I also come from a big CRO web development background. So whenever I build ad strategies, I think about the entire user acquisition strategy. And so that's kind of the lens I'll be looking at the ads from. And then as I'm going through this, I have a few of your brands up. I'm gonna, just for convenience, I have some of you submitted the link to the ads library in the doc. And so I'm gonna be prioritizing those just because they're available to see. If we have time, I'm happy to kind of go through anyone that I missed out, but this shouldn't be a seminar or a lecture. If you have questions as I'm going through it, please hit the little raise hand button in Zoom, and I want to make it interactive, open the floor to questions as you go, not just until the end. And so we're gonna kick it off like that. Everything sound good? Sweet. Oh. Right. Okay, so this one's Bevo. I don't have ads for that one. So one of the first ones that I like, give me a hot second to have a Chrome extension get in my way. So one of the first ad accounts that I like is a relatively small one in terms of the volume of ads, but I'll show you exactly why I'm starting it off. Pretty simple. Just screen share again. All right, this is quick camo. Do we have and so this is just a super simple like product demo ad. We'll see why this one is effective compared to all the other ones, because it's like a lot of the other ads that I'm seeing are static images, more like promotional, and a hat is pretty simple, like a camo hat's pretty simple to use. Some of you have more complex products. One of you have like a remote standing desk that goes up and down, low desk. And so those kinds of ads take a little bit more demonstration. That's what we call like the product demo ad. So that's a super quick one of why I like this one. It's short and sweet. It's very clear of what the product is. And just want to start off with something small and a quick win. Hopefully that gives you some ideas of your products as we go on through it. Let's see. So here are some of the another campaign. This is like electrolyte tablets, and so what I like about this is copy heavy. Like it's showing a lot of the benefits, it's showing a lot of the pains, giving you the use cases for it, post-workout, midday slump. What I think could be improved is the actual images, like the actual images of the ads themselves. They're a bit more like promotional. They're like, okay, I like this one. This one kind of shows what the actual product is. I'm thinking like Camelback. Let me take a look at this. Any kind of like social proof. I love this one. Interviews. And the fact that, let me see if I can make my screen a little bit bigger here. Also, you have to know that most of the ads on Facebook and Instagram, people watch them mute. So the fact that these captions are hard coded in is great. Of course, though, if you kind of cross post it to some channels like on TikTok, they might auto generate your captions. And so you want to be mindful if they have auto generate captions on top. But any kind of like interviews, customer stories, case studies, like this is gonna be great content. It shows that you're a real brand. You're not just kind of like a, you know, an AliExpress drop shipper when this brand is going to be out of business or something. Like actual people use this. So big fan of that. But here, I really like the copy for this one. It's just has a lot of benefits, free shipping on orders over 30 pounds, I believe, 30 euros. I forget that symbol. Here's one little critique. This was a question I got on a recent consultation. Someone was asking about creative testing and they were wondering about the description. Now, the description is these little 2 lines underneath the headline where it says award-winning electrolyte tablets and powerful green powders. This is great, but honestly, don't burn your brain trying to think of all that. It's very little screen space. Of most of the ads, like your ad will most likely work if you just don't do it. And so if your brain is going into the actual copy up here, which we call the primary text, and the actual media, the creative, you don't, and then you know, you can use the summary of the auto-generated headlines. There's a few different tools. People are coming up with headlines. It doesn't need to be a big hook here. And the description part is optional. So let me see. Like here, this one's a perfect example. This doesn't even have a description. And I'm sure when we were going over it, no one even mentioned it or no one even noticed it because it was such a great video and the video is engaging. So it doesn't have a description, not worth your brain power in thinking about it. Feel free again to ask any questions of how I'm going through this and looking at the creatives for different questions. This one is this one's kind of controversial. So back in the day, Facebook used to give a warning if you have too much text in your ad. It would say like 20% text. And for some offers, I actually have not seen that to cause a problem, meaning this one's not the best in terms of like showing the product or showing a user actually using the product or like an unboxing video. It's just literally like kind of like a coupon, like a promotion. I call these like flyer ads, and they work for some offers. Like if you have a giveaway or something informational, use what I would this kind of ad can work for a better offer, meaning like think about flyers that you see on a telephone pole. I'm currently in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I walk around and I see on poles literally just says like learn Portuguese as you're a native English speaker, and it's like a couple words, only text, and I'm happy to sign up. Like it doesn't need to be anything fancy. So that's what this type of ad is, but it can probably improve. Like it doesn't add more just by saying clear morning start with hydration that could have been just like in the copy here. Think memes, like it could have been like another sort of hook or another type of plot twist to the ad. This one has a lot of ads, good amount of testing. Let me see.
Bunty, I do have a question.
Yeah,
Is it good if I just say it?
go for it. Yeah.
Awesome. How do you usually think about creative when running through the different like stages of your funnel, right? So there's top of funnel or awareness, then there's consideration, and then there's like to make a purchase. How do you usually like what's your thought process behind the design, behind the copy, behind anything around the funnel that goes through any like yeah, basically any funnel, like any ads in a funnel?
Good question. So that's going to be highly subjective to the brand based off of how much that brand is already like known by your public. Like hydration tablets, I would guess this is being marketed to people who already use hydration tablets in some way. Meaning if this was maybe like 10 years ago when like Camelback Elixir tablets wasn't as popular, I would then make creative and copy that's more education based. Like there's, I think, the copy here, there's not a whole lot of testing in this copy, so that's not a great example, but using just kind of highlighting, saying what these use cases are for, that's educational copy. And so that's where, if this is assuming that people aren't using it, but I would guess, like for myself, I go to the gym a lot. You don't need to sell me that I'm going to use this for post-workout hydration. I just want to know what type of chemicals it has. Does it have like creatine or like a little bit of protein in it? I don't even know how that would work, but thinking about if you're marketing to someone who's more solution aware, then it needs to speak to that. I'm going to keep that in mind to see if I can find something that's less aware. Actually, this is a good one from Jack at Low Desk. And so this one is, I would say, new in the education space. And so this is
Did you know you spend about a third?
This is a desk that goes up and down, and right now the way that he's making his products, or this messaging, is more about like improving your posture. So he's using education. He's still very top of funnel, trying to educate people that you can work better. Now, as you are in general reaching people who aren't aware about your product and may not even know about the problem. Like there's going to be a lot of remote workers that don't know that. Let's take this example. He probably doesn't have any ads like this, but
most desks were designed.
Actually, this one's a perfect ad. This one's a perfect ad, very top of funnel, educating people about the base problem. Meaning this is highlighting what the current situation, the current landscape is. If you're a remote worker, if you sit a lot, if you're not very active, these are the things that with your environment can be a problem. So this is like a explainer video, like something you might see on TikTok or like a YouTube, and it's basically just educating you on how your current solution, which is probably like just a normal computer or a laptop on a desk, is actually hurting you. And so this is very top of funnel educational material, which I think is about, I would say, like 80% of the ads people should do, because that's just more top of funnel. And if people already know about your problem, like there's a big group of people, thanks to the pandemic, where people are more aware of sitting at your desk a lot and they're more shopping. Like right now, you probably can't tell, but I'm using a laptop stand to raise my laptop up, and I really messed up my neck and my posture from always being hunched over. And so for me, this would not be as effective of an ad. This
Did you know you spend about?
he probably doesn't have any of these, but I would appreciate something more mid funnel, where I'm in the consideration stage, where it's actually showing how it works. And so we might be talking about product features and benefits. This one's still very educational
Most
in nature. So if I don't think Jack is right now,
keep sitting still.
but
Do we have the person from Low Desk here?
no, I think I was talking to Jack in the DMs. I think he said he signed up, but I'm not sure he's able to make it.
Got it.
So yeah, there's a lot of these ads are not very feature or benefit heavy. It's talking about the actual like the higher level problem that you should find a different solution. Like even in this ad, let me see. He has a little infographics of someone sitting on a ball in weird positions. And so it's not about his desk a lot. And he's not talking to people who are already educated about the problem and are not educated about the solution, the product. And so someone like me, my laptop stand is like $60. But if I'm settling down somewhere and I want a better setup, I'm loosely in the market of a standing desk. I'm thinking about a walking pad. And maybe his solution might actually, like, I'm kind of a consumer for him. So if there was more ads that actually showed how it worked, how easy it was, and money is obviously a huge lever for like price of like the value of it, like, and that would be something to consider. And here he is trying to use like a coupon to basically incentivize taking action, but you also have to know if your audience, like kind of the affluency of your audience, meaning like, are they shopping based on price? Is it a commodity, or are they shopping based on value? Like, I'm a knowledge worker. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm not going to skimp money on a solution that is for my posture, for my work performance. I'm not necessarily going to be incentivized by a coupon to take action for a high ticket item. I believe on the Lodesk website, these products are like 1,500. So you're not shopping for someone who's like, yeah, like, okay, 1,200, 2,000, 1,800. The cheapest one is 500. So yeah, so he like, I wouldn't say this coupon is necessarily a best use of ad. Now, if we go to his website and you have an exit intent or a pop-up, that's a very simple redeem your coupon for 75 bucks. Great offer. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. But right at the ad level, when you're first getting people in, people want to know about your product, more about how it works, who uses it, and along those lines. Let's try to go through a few more. What I don't think I have seen is like testimonial ads. Like, I think we got a couple from the Daily Hero, the electrolyte tablets, when we saw like kind of people using them. But one sort of playbook that I used before was screenshotting your reviews and just like making a slideshow of them. Reviews go a long way. And so if you have video testimonials, that's even more powerful. I don't think I've seen ads from anyone kind of using the social proof of their reviews. Let's check out this one. This one, I like this one because it's both a product demonstration and an unboxing video. I don't see too many of those. Those are super popular on TikTok, organic. I'm a huge TikTok consumer. And I've been a digital nomad for a while, and so TikTok is great at picking up local content. But aside from that, I see a lot of like behind the scenes businesses of like how to make jewelry, your factory, and just interesting content like that. And so unboxing videos is not something you would naturally think unless you're probably part of that demographic. But people love this process. Like this has a little bit of the unboxing here, but if something is this tiny diffuser, maybe I don't even know if this person, I don't know how this works. I don't know if they make the smells, but if this person had any ability to show how, like, what this tincture is, how they think about the liquid that goes into the diffuser, I think that would also be some kind of cool behind the scenes content. And then all of a sudden, that also goes back to your original question about how you think about how the content fits into your funnel. You're thinking about how people use your product. The product may just be the diffuser, but if you're looking at an influencer or a thought leader about how they craft interesting smells, and then your diffuser is just a tool to do that, then you're thinking about advertising to the person's longer term solution. Let me see this one. I like this one. So it's also a different use case. It's talking about your keeping your wardrobe smelling good. And so it's appealing to different people. I also like in the description here, this person is kind of touching on their social proof, 4.9 stars, 1,832 reviews. I always recommend being specific with the reviews because it seems more legitimate as opposed to over 10,000 5-star reviews. It's a very small minor thing to test. It's not worth testing out, but in general, it just usually sounds better when you can be more specific. Even if they change it to 10,052, then it has a little bit more credibility that you actually took that number rather than just a guess of like 10,000. Let me see. My best home steal this. So I don't know how much like I don't use, my nose is my weakest sense, so I don't do a lot of smells outside from incense, but this person has a lot of different use cases for how they might use their product. There's definitely ability to jam on more hooks. Like I would naturally imagine more women who want this product, but as a person I'm in a relationship and I know my partner cares about smells, and so my motivation might be I want this to smell better for my partner. And so I think that's a little bit more bold of an ad strategy or an hook, or even this goes beyond ads that you're thinking about positioning. But I could see a potential for this type of product appealing to men, and making, like, treating it almost like an alternative cologne, or just making their office smell better. I don't use too much essential oil, so I'm kind of reaching there, but it looks like
We bought 3 of these lamps.
I'm just kind of reaching for the audience that it might be, folks. Interesting. I don't know what this description is. Heather Lim, you see. This is, oh, okay. This is actually I'm glad I found this one. This is a partnership ad. I don't see these too often, but this is essentially an affiliate or an influencer. However, there's some small distinctions of how you call it, but it's like a brand partnership. So this person essentially got this influencer, Heather, to effectively create this ad. And this is where it's kind of creative of how the arrangement might have been. Maybe the person didn't actually pay the person for any promotion, but they paid for the ad, because now that influencer gets reach because of the brand boosting the ad. This is a pretty powerful strategy, but take some time to find someone who actually has thought leadership. In full transparency, I haven't done a whole lot of work with influencer campaigns from a back-end management perspective, but as a consumer, I've seen them work, and I've purchased products and things like that through influencer ads. So this is exactly one of those where it's essentially boosted in partnership with the brand, and not just like that influencer's organic following, which a lot of like influencers or partnership deals may end. This was actually put through their ad account from the influencer. It's a very little technical side to actually build up and do, but this is a, like, your entire strategy could just be influencers who are pushing your product.
Yeah, if I may add something here, just because I have been working with some brands that are running partnership ads, and they really do work. I've seen mostly them doing them for top of funnel, and they greatly reduce CPMs. I've seen it how much just doing a partnership ad or just whitelisting ads can have a big toll on CPMs. Just because like Bunty said, it goes into the organic following of the other person. It just leverages that. And yeah, I mean, I think that this is just the right time to test it. I'm also like, if there's this one platform that's called refunnel.com that does a great work, because managing all of this, I'm pretty sure you know this, Bunty, but managing like partnership ad, whitelisting ads, all of that takes a bunch of time, mostly when you're running with a bunch of different UGC or content and things like that. So right now is the best time to do whitelisting ads from what I've seen. And yeah, that's pretty much, I just wanted to add that in. And yeah, please continue, man. I'm sorry.
No, that's great. and all you guys are like direct to consumers, but sometimes I will see a small part of the strategy go to like enterprise or businesses, or there's a business arm, and you might want to think about going on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has what effectively the same as like influencer ads called like thought leadership ads. And so that's kind of like the primary strategy. I wouldn't just like copy and paste a social feed from Facebook to LinkedIn if you're, thinking that one product works there, and you have to make something specific. I actually kind of like this ad. There's a great hook, like just the fact that it starts with like this talking about LinkedIn. This is very classic of like just have the dot dot dot, like the famous LinkedIn thing is like, this is what I learned about B2B sales dot dot dot, and it's like the whole story. And so this is that equivalence. It's like, took me forever to come out and say this. It naturally has curiosity. I want to click it. I want to know. The beginning, the first 3 seconds is important. I haven't talked much about exactly video scripting if you have a more educational product, but the first 3 seconds, you got to capture the attention in the product. And that's worth a lot of testing just on the intro. If you kind of shot like a product demonstration video of just finding like a different hook. So I like this one just because it creates curiosity, captures the attention. And then it just goes into like how the product's helped, but great starting hook. Let me see. You know what? I'm kind of curious. Flash deal. So this one, I wanted to click on this and check this out because this is a flash deal. And I'm glad this popped up. So we're gonna quick divergence into kind of the focus is a creative jam session. This is what I was referring to earlier as like an exit intent pop-up. Most of you probably have this. There's different versions of this, but essentially a pop-up to capture a coupon is a very easy one like this. There's like a little game wheel where you spin the wheel and it's like maybe 10% off, $5 off, and it's kind of a giveaway. I was seeing if there is congruency from this ad. It says a 50% flash deal, only $9.90, and I click through it and I wanted to see like, do you need to enter your email to redeem that offer? It's a little bit harder to test and a bit more to see, but no, it's just a coupon, and it is reflected there, and there's nothing that they need to like enter to capture that information. I will also say from a high level spectrum, a lot of advertising should funnel into your email marketing strategy. And so if it's about the coupon, great first step. Some of the classic ones, if you use Klaviyo, has a bunch of pre-built e-commerce marketing automations with like abandoned cart sequences. And so if you start the abandoned cart process and you don't finish it, you should automatically get incremental or coupons and bumps to complete the process. And if you are advertising in the US and possibly Canada, I say that possibly because I'm American, the US still uses SMS quite a bit. And I get a double open rate on my SMS campaigns than my email campaigns. Meaning email, I might get 40 to 50%. SMS is consistently above 80%. You can't like scam people or do as much. You can't treat it like a newsletter. But if you configure Klaviyo to get a phone number and to collect a phone number with the add to cart, and your Klaviyo email marketing sequences also send SMSs, that'll most likely earn you back any sort of usage fees that you may pay for texts. I'm doing a quick CRO audit just to kind of check out this page. If anything else is broken, no red flags. Cool. So I think I'm seeing a lot of repeat themes. And so while I kind of thumb through the rest, if I still want to open it up to more questions, if to people what they think. If they have a specific question about their ad account, it doesn't necessarily have to be about creative. Even if it's like a budget question, a lot of times people ask me how many creatives did I test for X amount of budget, things about the ads manager setup. A recent question is how, like in their workflow, how do they manage building their team around shipping ads? Is it better to have a contractor for it? Is it better to have in-house? Those questions I'm happy to talk about. It's not necessarily directly on creative, but it's about how you're building this engine for your business and I'm just kind of here to help and offer some insights if I can around that. So as I kind of see if there's other opportunities to critique the ads, please jump in.
Hi, I'm Danica. What are you thinking? I'm just, we ran some ads for the first time in August. We don't have our ad account up here because we had to pull the ads because we're low on inventory. But I'm seeing a lot of videos now about kind of the new Andromeda, put everything into one campaign, don't do like little iterations. So what are your thoughts on kind of where things are now with Meta and just like simple campaign structure for like, low kind of budget ad accounts?
Great question. What you were talking about, let me jump back to one of the ad accounts I can test. So this, I imagine it's a pretty big budget because I can determine that because these ads all started running at the beginning of the month and there's a lot of different creatives. There's images, there's videos. So this is probably like, I would guess like $500, $1,000 a day. And it's still not a ton of creative. Like we already see this ad pops up in a few different ways. And so that's kind of what you were referring to in the beginning. And if you do have that budget, CBO campaigns, dumping everything in less is more definitely works. You want the algorithm to basically distribute your impressions as it sees fit. If you have a smaller budget and you want more control over the process, I really like this one. Like this one is essentially like this person created one ad. They constructed this. It's probably not a CBO ad. It's in the beginning. I often start with ABO, ad set budget optimization. Essentially, you control the budget at an ad set level. And in the beginning, I will launch a campaign where I can control the creatives and how it looks. Someone in the community asked like my thoughts about like the AI enhancement features, and I usually do those in a later step. I have noticed that in the beginning, it may like make my ad just visually look weird. And so creative enhancement, they might take this headline where it says gobbler proof camo. They might kind of make that hover in the top of the video. And that would just like kind of look strange to me. And some of those situations, it would say like AI knows best. But in the beginning of me testing a hook, a certain variable, a certain product, I want to have more control over it. And so less is more here. And if I always would try to at least test another iteration, another variation. So I would have liked, even for a small budget, to test another creative with that budget. But that's kind of how I would approach a smaller budget campaign. Let me see if I have another one. This one is also actually Lodesk is, let me see. Also, like whenever you can, video ads are always going to be great, like best. But if you just want to get started and you want to even start with a budget of $5 a day, like whipping up something in Canva or using an AI tool to make a static image, also a great way to start. But you also want to be mindful of, again, dumping in too many creatives in the same ad. Here, this is an example of like, this is not that different. Like if let's kind of limit the scope and say your budget's like $30 a day or $50 a day, and you want to test out this limited time offer. The only difference really here is like the colors. And you're not going to see much of a performance difference until you're reaching a large economy at scale. In the beginning, I like to think of this like analogy in my head where I'm trying to play a guessing game between the weight of a watermelon versus an apple. And so basically what's going to make a bigger difference in testing if you're trying to test like a watermelon compared to a cantaloupe, they're very similar in size. But if you're testing a watermelon to an apple or an orange, it's going to be very different in terms of how it feels and the impact. In this case, like just changing the colors here, it's not going to be a whole lot of difference in terms of your testing material. And so if your intention here was copy, I mean, maybe the only word difference is offer versus sale, but pricing is going to be one of your bigger levers in the beginning. So if you want to test your product price, that would have been a much more worthwhile test out of a smaller budget between these two images versus just the word offer versus sale. And there is a bit of a testing framework for your budget for like what you can test. Pricing is going to be one of the first ones, and your offer itself, like whether you're doing a promotion, whether you're doing a product, a low ticket product, a high ticket product, that's going to make a much bigger difference as well. Something like Lodesk here, it's honestly a high ticket product, and I probably would test out even more like list building offers and coupon offers because the buying cycle may take a little while. And so I would I like this educational ad, but maybe even just collecting a coupon and then using your email marketing to really make up the budget. I say that because it's going to be way cheaper to remarket through email than to remarket through the ad account. Like you can technically retarget people who watch the video, you can retarget people who've been to the website, but it's always going to be cheaper to just email that person, which is effectively free, rather than paying money to get that in front of someone else. Sorry, yeah, was that any thoughts or follow-ups from kind of like how you would test a small budget? Did that answer your question, or is it still more clarification?
Yeah, that was good. I was just, just hearing more and more like those kinds of iterations and not what Meta wants anymore. Like they want more diversity rather than the kind of just change the background or just change the color. And it seems like that's something that's happened just like in the past month.
Yeah, and also like people really underestimate how much money testing takes. Like if you're putting a lot of energy into, let me go back to this one. If you're dumping all this into a multivariate ad, meaning as you're building the ad, it gives you 5 different abilities to change copy, 5 different ways to upload the ad, you'll see that it only really distributes impression towards like maybe 1 or 2 of the 5. And so like you'll put a whole lot of energy into making ads and creative, and it just won't be a huge difference from one to another there. And so don't burn your brain trying to kind of fill in your ad account and make sure you do everything. Just 1 or 2 variations is kind of enough when you're starting, and then focus on other things. Let me see if I can find some others. Good question though.
If
Good
you're
questions
offering,
about.
I would love to have you go through my account. It's the Harifine Jewelry account.
Let me see. I think I have a jewelry account up. Harifine Jewelry. This is you?
That one's fine. Yep.
All right, yeah. So jewelry is it's very unique. Hold on, let me do a quick refresh. Meaning this is where I see, it's almost more important to have influencers, because think about like the US, like people look at like the Kardashians, and then there's whole like TikTok accounts or even Instagram accounts of someone who their whole business affiliates, where they break down the outfit of like a star, and then they figure out where you can buy those things. And it's really hard to know everything about your product without sort of that following. So that's kind of,
we have, you should be able to find 2 whitelisting ads in here that we're running. For reference, our business is almost entirely engagement rings, so it's a little bit less of like a trend celebrity focus
Mhm.
and more of like that high-end jewelry business, but that means that we need a lot of consideration before people actually purchase. And there's two ways to purchase, either D2C or booking a consultation with our team. And then you have like a one-on-one appointment. So you'll see some of the CTAs in here book now. But super interesting ideas. I think we've been struggling as we like scale up budget to like maintain ROAS. And it is such a like long consideration phase, so expensive, so competitive that any like small improvements to conversion or click can do a lot for us.
Yeah,
And
no,
we're spending maybe like 25 to 30K a month on Meta for reference.
Yeah, I could see it's great that you're offering a consultation. I think that's way undervalued, and product owners, whether it's software product, physical products, should kind of use a little bit of kind of a service mentality for some products, like especially if it's high ticket, to kind of just understand your customers more. Super professional. Let me see some of this. I've never bought an engagement ring yet, so I'm a little bit not familiar with this, but I understand the like long sales cycle, high consideration. You're doing a great job of showcasing the products. I like the video. They're pretty high quality. Usually the quality needs to be in line with the cost of the product. And so given that it's a high ticket item, and you're pulling testimonials into the copy, which is like a good intention, but I would also think about like taking that a step further to figure out how to employ more like social proof into the ad itself, sort of what we saw from some of the previous ad accounts of doing some testimonial videos, if that's something that's open to people. I know like this is not a brand where you do have a lot of repeat buyers, hopefully, knock on wood, but if you can find a incentive where someone shares their reaction, I'm guessing something it's very emotional, and so they should see like, yeah, how did your partner respond when you presented the engagement ring, and like I think that's like the wow factor that people want when they're buying that ring, and then that's like what they're shopping for. So getting that end result, I think, would be a good a good emotional hook. Ooh, I like this one. Nice hand model. I will find a ring that they'll love forever.
You gotta scroll down a bit. For some reason, it's showing you a bunch of our consult ones, but we spend more on like the shop now ads, which would be trying to get people for the site. And then that's one of our influencer concepts. Too.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, this one's great. Yeah, I don't see the influencer ads too much. So whenever for other people, just highlighting this kind of stuff is usually effective, just because people are shopping a lot more with like trust of influencers these days. Let's see. Yeah, you got booked now.
Claire, is it cool if I ask you a question? I just want to know like how has UGC worked for you guys? Where are you sourcing that content from? Just like what's your thought process behind UGC and how has it worked for you guys?
Yeah, I would say we haven't really done traditional UGC because our product is so expensive to ship out, and it's such a like personal decision that we really value like authenticity. So the influencers we work with are actual customers who either were already shopping with us and then we like realized they had a following, or like reached out to us and said, could we get like a discount or a comp ring in exchange for making videos? So that's kind of how we've done it. We also have a team, we have like an organic social manager, and then we have other employees who are in content more so within organic. But you'll notice there's a lot of like voiceovers and there's a lot of like little green screen concepts. Like that middle one, you'll see our founder kind of talking about a new arrival. It was back on and that's also her. But if you go back to the ad library, it showed one of our videos. But yeah, we haven't really done like the traditional influencer UGC playbook just because of how difficult it is to like get the product to people and that kind of consideration. One thing I thought about doing that we might do in the future as we just get more bandwidth is like inviting content creators to create content in our showroom, because that way we're not like sending out rings. There's no issue about shipping or having to like provide them the ring, but they could at least like try on the rings and kind of give a live like reaction.
Yeah, and just one small thing. How do you usually find those creators? Like, do you already know who they are? Are you running them through a tool that tells you who from your customer list is like has a certain amount of followers, or like how do you usually do that?
We've only done a few so far, so it's more of like if people are booking an appointment, they've kind of mentioned that they either are creators or we've like recognized them. We've also had some people kind of come to us. A lot of people find us on social to begin with, so they'll like be kind of attached to their social profile. So when they message us, we can kind of tell like they might be a creator themselves.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I just closed it down, but I think on your console page, you have more
Yeah.
about
It's
like the
consult.hairifine
process,
jewelry.
the
If you want
things,
to find it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like lab grown diamonds. Just at a random business dinner, my friend was just talking about the lab grown diamond concept in general and how that market is kind of a niche thing. And so I think just from a interest educational spectrum, there's probably more to do with like awareness here. And so people
Yeah.
probably know of, but maybe there's skepticism around it. I don't think I've seen a lot of content in the ad side. And so one of the old kind of techniques for longer buying cycles is what they call like an advertorial, and essentially an ad that do a longer blog post educating them about the product or the industry as a whole, and then leads its way into the products.
Yeah.
So it is focused on the products themselves, but then going on this page, like this is the stuff that would I personally would be interested in, just because I like kind of learning about this stuff, and you have some content towards it, and it looks like you invested in some, in your content process on TikTok to how, speaking to some of that stuff about the sustainability. And so
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting to put on Facebook as well, if you have data that
Yeah.
you can over.
For sure. I mean, that's a lot of our organic social strategy is the more upper funnel content. That's like a little bit more educational and less branding focused. Yeah, for sure.
Do you do any kind of like bottom of funnel content in terms of, this is something Shin you asked earlier, but like the classic was like comparison pages and sort of like competitor reviews, anything like that? I mean, in your sense, you might just be like the pros and cons of a lab grown versus organic. What would they call a non-lab grown? I'm not sure.
Yeah, like Mind usually.
Yeah, Mind. Okay.
Yeah, not necessarily. I would say we do so far as like bottom of the funnel DPAs do well for us, is just pulling in like, the specific products. And then often like the videos that kind of show our best-selling rings are the ones that get like the most purchases, but we haven't done a lot of like us versus them. I've been trying to get my team to get more comfortable doing that. I think in general, our founder wants to like stay pretty positive, but I think we can find a good balance. And it is a very common, like you always see like the greens versus athletic greens ad, or, stuff like that.
And if other people didn't catch that, you're referring to DPAs of dynamic product ads, and that usually is like the retargeting ads at the bottom of the funnel, that when you have like a full collection, it'll just retarget based off of the visits of those actual products. And so
yeah, we're actually small enough that we don't split out retargeting versus prospecting. When we have, it hasn't done very well. So, but like we do see those like prospecting DPAs do well for us. So for what it's worth.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're treating that at the cold traffic setting. Okay, yeah. Let me see. Where was I? I'm looking for more like testimonials, customer reviews. I saw that in your ads themselves, but
yeah, as of now, we don't have product level reviews. It's something we've been looking into, but we have pretty low volume, and a lot of our products are custom. Like it's just a one-off, someone making it. So there's no like SKU attached. So if we did do product level reviews, there wouldn't be very many, but we do have like the testimonials page on our site. It's probably under about, and then it like links out to Trustpilot. But that is something I've been looking at because I think it would be helpful even just to pull in brand level testimonials to the product pages. And they do well
Yeah,
in
so that
ads. We use it for copy all the time.
right, yeah, I saw that you have it in your primary text. That is pretty much a quick win because if in general, people don't like click as much these days. It's attention span is low, grow more. And so having some of your reviews on product pages goes a long way. They don't have to be specific to that product. If it's like your brand in this case, then that's some is better than none. And generally, this is something that's like not even worth testing. And in terms of brand lift, it almost always improves conversion to have some sort of social proof in some form. Even the ones that you have here, if you can kind of use that as like a content block and you put in your product pages,
Yeah.
guaranteed to kind of improve there, because you, as someone clicks on an ad, there isn't that proof on this page that's like pushing it
Yeah.
that much social proof. And then like you would be reliant on like their ability to click around or your remarketing efforts to push the brand more. Social proof is really noticed as just more of a important metric or more of an important lever from the pandemic. There's just like a lot more online noise these days.
Yeah.
And so people want more trust, more social proof from their peers, copy from peers who are kind of seeing something that relates to them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
Cool.
great
Thank you.
content. Yeah. We're almost wrapping up. I don't think I saw like a brand doing things that we haven't seen just yet. So if anyone does have more questions, either about testing, campaign setups, conversion rate, or just like the strategy, and if I can't ask, I'm sure Shin can jump in as well. Let me see. Okay, we haven't really seen too many talking head ones. This is also great content. Like I think if even if you like you the founder or as a marketer can do a talking head, whether it's about the product, whether it's a behind the scenes, quick ways to do content, and video always captures more attention than anything else. Let me see.
We got a question from Kinder Cloth Diaper. I can read it in a minute.
I have it. I got the chat pulled up. Is it more beneficial to send to a campaign landing page over a general PDP product dynamic page? That depends. So it kind of depends on the brand and then the product. Like I'm gonna use Lodesk again for the example because it's like kind of the only brand that we have that's like super high ticket. Like you're probably not shopping around for too many different products. You're looking for the right product that fits your needs, and that's where I would have like a campaign landing page. That's where for Lodesk it would be more appropriate there. If like this camo hat's like your premium product or like your flagship product, campaign landing page. If you just have a collection or a suite of products, then the collections page, just the product pages, or like you had with like the jewelry store, since people want to shop around, that's more appropriate to send it to product pages for that. Let me see.
Just to note on that, I've seen a lot of brands doing really great listicles. I was actually pulling some for my e-commerce manager. I can send in the chat for inspo, but I've seen those do really well. It's kind of, if you have traffic that's not quite ready to buy, but they just need more information, it could be a nice way to keep them on site and like engage with the brand before sending them directly to shop.
Yeah, I mean, basically the longer buying cycle or the higher ticket product is, the more warming up and education you need. There's a few different levers for that. The listicles, one of those levers, whether you're doing it to just driving traffic towards a blog post for more education or trying to get the people on like a list of some sort, or even if it's like a low ticket product. I haven't seen any of those within these brands. Like back in the day, a lot of drop shippers would use like a free plus shipping offer or effectively like a loss leader. And this is something that you might have to make as like a business strategy if you're brand allows for it, but your advertising efforts may be best towards effectively like a loss leader, and that you know that through your email marketing, you're building a buyer list where then you can do remarketing on the email side and make up your LTV. That gets more complicated and more subjective if you have a brand that's up to repeat buys or like a consumable, something like the essential oils, I'm sure has like a lot of repeat buys. Build your own box here. This is, oh, I love this. I haven't seen any kind of cooking instructions. Oh, this is super packaged goods. Oh, this is making me hungry. I follow a lot of cooking videos on TikTok as well, and so I would take this a step further. And people have, it's about like, I think TikTok's great for like testing out different trends and seeing what's good for engagement, and I would use that for advertising. And so one thing they're doing is like, what does a steak look like when you sear it for 30 seconds? And then obviously it's undercooked, and then it keeps on going up incrementally. And it's like, this is what it looks like after a minute, and then after 2 minutes, 3, and then 4. And then it's just, it keeps your engagement. People want to see it. This one's more about like the product itself, but this is how I would think about content if I was like this brand and kind of sourcing it from TikTok. I think TikTok's still kind of like the king of content and trends in that way. And then I always kind of joke the saying that Instagram is a couple weeks late for TikTok trends. It just sort of takes like the highlight reel from TikTok and puts it on Instagram after a while. So that's still great source inspiration. Sweet.
But if you don't mind, I've been wanting to do something that I mean, we're just testing it out, but I'd love for whoever wants to jump in and just say something that has worked for you guys, some learnings that you've had in the last couple of months or something that anyone else could maybe take and run with it. They could maybe ping you on Slack, but I don't know if anyone's down just to say a couple of words on like what's been working for you guys that someone else in this call could potentially use for their own brands.
Or AI tools.
What did work? I'll just say what did work for us when we did in August. You know, the 2 highest performing ads, and we ran a bunch of video and stills. We had one really highly produced static, like just it looked really good, really clean, with just like a simple with the powdered oat milk. You know, oat milk you can feel good about drinking. That was it. And that was our highest performing one with a beautiful pour of milk. And the second one was like not a classic ad. It was like a POV. So like a 7-second text on screen POV with text on it. And those were the 2, you know, more than even like the talking head, the other ones. So that's just what worked for us, just as far as creative goes.
And Danica, just one quick question follow-up. Did you have any thought process behind the copy that you use for that creative?
Yeah, so, you know, oat milk you can feel good about drinking was kind of pointing to the fact that a lot of people are getting messages that oat milk's not great for you. So it's like for the people who like oat milk, but maybe have been questioning because they're hearing, oh, it's not great for my blood sugar. So it's like, oh, I can drink oat milk again, you know. So that was this, you know, the click-through rate, I think was over 10% on that. And
crazy. And how did you, where did you get this data? Did you talk with customers? Did you get like a feedback form when someone bought your product?
yeah, all of that. I mean, we do a feedback form after purchase, you know, which shows us over 90% of the people are purchasing our milk for health reasons. Then there's like sustainability, preparedness, different things. So health has always been number one. And then just kind of knowing what's out there, like following a lot of health and wellness people, seeing a lot about oat milk online. You know, it's just kind of keeping up with what people are talking about when they're talking about oat milk. And then just hearing from customers, like people saying, but I've heard oat milk, da da da. So that's kind of where we went with that.
No, yeah, that's awesome. Are you planning on launching more of that style?
We are, yeah. So I think when we relaunch in a few weeks, when we're back in stock, You know, I'll take those 2 high performing ads and throw those in the mix as well. I still need to figure out how we're going to set it up, and then kind of try and do variations on that plus some other things. So
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. Kyle, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to add to that, something that you've seen working for you.
I wish I could add something that's been working, but yeah, the video ads seem to do better for me, and I'm still trying to figure out what message I need to convey, whether it's the benefits or whatnot. So if I get any more insights, I'll update the Slack group. But right now, I'm still
Awesome.
struggling to get the conversion. I get clicks, I have pretty good engagement and all that. So maybe it's a pricing thing, or I don't know. But I wish I could
Yeah.
share more wisdom, but I'm
No, it's-
here to learn mostly, and I'm going to try that point of view. I think that's a good idea, that and make some video ads that are a little shorter and see.
Yeah. Again, I mean, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for joining. If I've gotten any feedback from all of the people that I talked to right now, is content, like putting money and production into your content. And production doesn't mean hiring like a videographer or anything like that, but just like very well optimized content and really putting hours and hours into figuring out what ad you're launching is though the next move from what I've heard from like the people I talk to every single day. So we're entering the era of content, and the best your content is, the lower your CPMs, the lower your the higher the performance of your ads, and that's basically it. I run ads just a little bit, so this is not from me, this is coming from people that I talk to, so just take it with a grain of salt also. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining. Bunty, thank you so much for coming in. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ping Bunty, ping me. Also, if you want any interest with anyone, if you have any questions, anything, just ping me on Slack and I'll make sure that you get your answers. But thank you guys for coming in. I hope you have an awesome week. And yeah, pretty much it. Thank you guys. Take care.